a privilege to talk to professional services leaders. You employ some of the best people in the country. Most of you will be exporters as well. I'm delighted to say a few words about employer brand management. I'm going to cover just 3 points. One, the origins of it. Secondly, my current views on where it's going in the present circumstances, and a word about HR and its power. My aim has for years been to bring the best of product brand management to people at work. As Richard said, I was a brand manager first with Knorr, now owned by Unilever, and then Colgate. My thinking is based on the principles of good product brand management: coherence, coordination, measurement, all the stuff you've seen in the panel we've just gone through. That was identified not by me, but 90 years ago by a 26-year-old Harvard a graduate working in the advertising department of Procter & Gamble. Brand management, hence marketing, has come from that man, and is still in pretty good shape. He went on to become chief executive of Procter & Gamble at the age of 44. And he's not alone in terms of marketing people who have gone into bigger general management jobs. And you can see where I'm going on that. The critical elements of employer brand management in his time and now, the creation of a plan which is approved by an engaged and intensely interested management. There's a point there for us in the people world. Establishing the truth about what makes your brand distinctive and compelling, and addressing whatever is holding you back, wherever it is and at whatever level it is. And the key to success in a brand management, whether product or employment, is proximity to power. It doesn't mean you have power. It means you are close to people who do have, and they trust and respect you. The branding aspects, e.g. advertising and promotion, are only part of what makes for success. Employer branding is not the answer to any of the issues. You cannot spin your way out of to an employer brand. People know it already. The origin of the term, well, some years after Colgate, I was chief executive of an HR-facing business. It was profitable, but it was reactive and it was project-driven. And I thought to myself, where are the disciplines of brand management in the client community? And that thinking prompted me to say, don't kid yourself. This is, it's a different ballpark. It's an employer brand. And I'm indebted to Tim Ambler, then Senior Research Fellow of London Business School, for helping to do the first MBA research. And we wrote a paper together, and it's the most popular paper Tim gets asked for all these years later. One definition, which I have slightly adjusted over the years. Right now, it's the employer brand is formed by the functional, economic, and psychological realities making up the employment experience, the employee experience provided by the employer. Employer brand management must be able to influence every element of the employee experience. That's the heart of the employer brand. It's not branding. It's what you actually do to make yourself an outstanding employer. Now, a few thoughts, starting with 2020. In uncertain and troubled times, the conduct of the leadership will never be forgotten. How shared was the pain if you've had to inflict it? How transparent and accessible was the leadership? Do you share the opinions, the options for the business? How are people valued in the list of stakeholders? Now, some thoughts for the future. It's great to see so many in the community, certainly in my local area, the number of people who are reaching out to other people who are less fortunate. I wonder whether businesses will pick up on this. It would be thrilling if they did. I would love to see kindness in a list of values. We all need it. And management actions, however brutal they can be, and they sometimes need to be brutal, you don't have to put the decency and kindness away from them. And in questions, I've got a story to tell on that, which I'm proud of. The next, the support for chief executives, senior partners, etc., who take a longer term view. It's interesting that in the Edelman Trust Barometer, published in January of this year, that 73% of respondents in considering a firm look at the performance of the chief executive in terms of what they have said about society at large. They are not disconnected from the interests of the firm. They are part of the firm. And I believe the post-virus world is going to change employer brand thinking better and faster. I heard a senior doctor, many of you will have seen him too, I suspect, saying recently, we've needed this change for years, and now in a few weeks we've got it. We're going to see a lot of that. Many of you will have already seen that feeling of pull down the ramparts that are stopping us doing the right thing. We're going to see the more urgency, more impatience to address long-standing challenges that management may have tolerated in the past, but won't do anymore. Number one for me is to make the principles of employer brand management at least as demanding as the principles of product brand management. In a new world of truth and directness, it's the realities of the employment experience which count. For years, too many have tiptoed around the sensitivities and failed to tell the truth to power. In questions, I can cover some of the mistakes I have made in the marketing world and been forgiven for, things that I would never have been able to do within the world of HR.